Yo, what is going on guys? Welcome back to the Slip Creative channel. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Today I'd just like to make a small video about how to do 3D. I've had a few questions about this off the back of my last competition. People really struggling with adding 3D to their lettering. So this is just a little quick tutorial about how to do it. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first type of 3D we're going to go over is the just simple drop-down 3D. Now this is the most common and the most simple 3D to do, and I definitely recommend everyone tries this out first if you are new to this. Okay, so you've got your basic letter structure here. I've just gone with a B and a Q. And the drop-down 3D is basically as if this letter structure is lifted up and it's jumping off the page and it's three-dimensional. Now, the easiest way to do this is make sure you're looking at your piece straight on and you're just gonna draw a 3D down from it. Okay, so we've got a little ruler here. Okay, so the first tip I'd give for this one is always draw every line downwards the same length. So I'm gonna go with about 2 centimeters. Obviously, once you've done this a few times, you can do it by eye, but just for demonstration, I'm just gonna draw them all. So every single point I've got, I draw down 2 centimeter line. So we've got points there, all the way along. Now, on areas like this where there isn't actually an end point, what I like to do is just go from the top and draw your 2 centimeter line down, because that's when you know where the edge of the 3D is going to be. Whereas on areas like this, you've got an actual corner. So the 3D is going to come round and then it's going to come down this way, following this bar of the B here. Okay, so on an edge area like this, you just want to go to where so there'll be no 3D there, but there would be here. So we're going to draw from there 2 centimeters down. That's going to be the start of it. I also like to do a second one here. Okay, then we simply imagine this letter structure. So these edges are pulled downwards. So we've got this line here is now here. This line here is now here. And as you can see here, that's creating the 3D. So this line here is now here. This line around here is now there. So on here, we can see we've got this line here to go on the bottom of here. So the 2 centimeters has now meant that that's dropped under this bar of the B. So we just leave nothing there. It's as if the 3 is just covered. Okay, so this line here, we then draw here. Right, here is a small detail, that the fact that this drops down. This is something to pay attention to, and it really adds a lot to your pieces if you manage to do this. So we need to make sure that that same drop down is here. You can then draw a straight line and it pairs them up. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that quickly to show you what it will look like. Okay, there we go. We've added a simple 3D to this BQ here. Adds a lot more depth to the piece and really pushes it off. Okay, so let's move on to the next type of 3D, which is a vanishing point 3D. Okay, so the next 3D type we're going to talk about is vanishing point 3D. Now, this is a little bit more of a complex type of 3D and it takes a little bit more mastering, but once you get it, you sort of get it forever and you can't really forget it. So the way vanishing point works is every single point vanishes to one specific point on the piece. Quite a common technique used in art, but it works well in lettering and it gives off a great effect. So the way vanishing point works is you pick a point somewhere on your piece. I normally go with like down the bottom here. I feel like it works well. So you draw a singular point, or you can do it as an X. You're then going to need a ruler and you draw a line off every point to that X. Okay, so now I've done that, I can come back in. I'm gonna go with, say, a kind of 2 centimeter size again. So 2 centimeters away, I'm gonna draw this line down here parallel. The same here, 2 centimeters away. I'm gonna draw that line, this line here, drawn here. Same here. And that's it. I'm then gonna go back in with the eraser and take away all the stuff that I don't need, which were these sort of construction lines. And there we can see the 3D that we've created. So I'm just gonna go back in and ink that right now. Okay, so a tip while doing Vanishing Point 3D is always keep an eye on that X, because you're going to need it later on if you're going to add Vanishing Point details. So my Vanishing Point details still need to follow that line. So this one might be parallel with it, but coming at it from this angle, it's going to be more like this. And if you make sure you do that, you will always allow the piece to flow well and the 3D will look realistic. And it won't be thrown off by the eye at all. Okay, so there we have a little piece there with a Vanishing Point 3D. Really simple, and it does take a bit of practice to sort of get used to doing, but once you've got it down, you've got it down, and it's really simple and great to incorporate in all pieces. Okay, so the third technique that I'd like to go over is the drop shadow. It's not really a type of 3D, but it really does help jump simple stuff off a page. Okay, so the easiest way of doing a drop shadow is imagining your letters again and being able to move them and redraw them as a shadow. Okay, so the top of this A I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna move it across to a point, I'm then gonna move it down to a point. So I'm following the top of that R in this direction. I'm then gonna draw that as a point, and that's gonna be that part of the A. I'm gonna do the same here. So I'm gonna go across, I'm gonna go down, and that's gonna be that part of the A. I can then connect those two. I'm then going to try this point here. I'm going to go across and I'm going to go down. That's going to be that point of the A there. So I can then connect all of this up and do the same here, the same here. And when this becomes more natural, you will literally just be able to draw it. So I'll know that that's where that goes, and that's where a shadow would be. This is all depending on the light source. So say my light source is up here, this is the kind of shadow that would be created. It's the same that I've got a light over here. So if I hold my pen here, you know, the shadow's coming behind it. So if I had my light source on the other side, for example, all of this shadowing would be on the other side instead. And if I had it above, it would be below. And if I had the light source below here, the shadowing would be up the top here. This technique is used mostly in throw-ups, and straight letter pieces, but I like to use it in all my work as I feel like it really does make stuff pop off the wall. So yeah, once you've got that, you just ink it. Okay, so there we have a simple drop shadow. Really easy to do, and I highly recommend learning this one first if you do anything. Really helps your piece jump off the page. Okay, so now I'm just going to run through a few types of 3D that I've used. Okay, so here you can see a type of 3D. This is actually a drop-down 3D, but instead of going down, it's just going to the right instead. If I move the piece like this, you can see every single point on the lettering goes down. This is giving the kind of illusion that the piece is moving this way. It's a really clean, you know, really basic, just filled in black and works really well. Okay, here in this piece, you can see it's a drop down 3D. but instead of going down, we've gone at sort of a 45-degree angle like this. We can see that every point follows that throughout the piece. Every point follows that direction. And finally, in this piece, we've got a Vanishing Point 3D. So everything in the piece is flowing down to this bottom section. So every line follows that in the 3D, and it gives the illusion of a vanishing point. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in on today's video. If you'd like more of these sort of like small tutorial Carl style videos, just let me know. I'll be happy to do them. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.